Welcome to
the show today.
The Basic Bitch and the Bearded Bikers MDK.
And we've had a weekend full of what we tried to make spooky.
Oh yeah, and some of it hit and some of it missed.
Did not.
So we're about to share with you what should have been 2 episodes rolled into 1. So cue that intro.
Welcome back.
Well, in an attempt to make this month completely Halloweeny, we have come up with some episodes that we were trying to get worked out. So we started out with the candy, which in my opinion, huge hit. Freaking love
Candy
that.
was good.
That was awesome. Then, next up was the
Pumpkin spice.
The pumpkin spice episode, which was
a lot of misses, but it was still fun.
It was fun because, you know, it was the first time we ate some bad food in a little while.
Yeah, and well, by bad, he means sugar-filled.
Yeah.
Yes. We've been trying to slim down.
Milk. And we're going to have to make an episode, you know, talking about some changes that came to our lives recently and how we've been rolling with it, but that'll come after October.
Yes.
So then we came to the 2-part episode that we're going to be doing today. Was one, yesterday we did what was supposed to be a ghost tour of Fort Pierce. And
it was a little bit of a letdown.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
The best part of the tour was when we reached a certain point where there were some kids and they started
Now that's scary!
Yeah, those kids
that
knew
was the
that
best.
the tour was coming there, and they were there to do the
that was
ghost voices.
The best part of the whole thing.
Yeah, now
It's hard,
Now the tour was nice. It was a nice long walk. It was a good hour, a little over an hour tour. It hit on some of the prominent buildings that are known, you know, that are talked about when ghosts and history for Fort Pierce. But the girl who did it was not from here, which is fine, but she's not been here too long. I don't think, maybe a couple years. And I believe this is probably a recent job.
Yeah,
because she did not have her facts and her dates and her names and the stories down quite as good as you really want when you're paying, you know, $20, $30 to walk a walk tour.
You know,
with someone you're wanting a little bit more professional tour guide-ish.
You know, there's an aspect of doing a ghost tour. There's an aspect of doing something personal like that.
Yeah.
Where you have, first of all, you have to be a good storyteller.
Yes.
You have to be able to tell a story. You got to get the attention. You've got to really pull them in. You've even so the first place we went to was the Boston House. And the stories were so conjoined, and they weren't together, and they were confusing.
Made no sense, and I don't know if it was just stuff that, you know, that's on the internet that has been rambled about over the years, but has no proof or no validity to the house. It's just, you know, just rumors and chaos.
And I mean, there's a way of doing creative licensing in order to, you know, tell the truth, but in a way that makes it sound more.
Yeah. And then one stop we stopped at had literally no ghost story to it. It was just a brief history lesson. And then we moved on to another. And now part of the letdown isn't really the tour company's fault, but in where they do it in downtown Fort Pierce, they do it at a time of night where it's 8 o'clock, where the downtown area is happening. So it's not at all spooky because you got motorcycles going by, big trucks going by, people walking around talking, people dressed up, people dressed down. It's just not leading to kind of a dark and ominous kind of tour.
I mean,
spookiness.
If you're going to do it, you can include some of the stuff to it. You know, you can include some of the ambiance of the outside. Yeah. And it just wasn't. She was obviously new. And we don't want to give her name. We don't want to give the company name because we don't want to badmouth anything. But, you know, it's disappointing when you feel like you could, with a day's research, I could have given a better tour.
Yeah.
And that's a little disappointing.
Well, you're also a natural talker, you know. The other thing was she was a quiet talker, so, you know, with traffic and night noises, you had to lean in a lot and strain to understand what she was saying. All in all, I would never take that tour again.
No.
Unless, apparently they got a guy there who's Brian, who's, you know, 5 stars all day long, so maybe it's a big different tour when he's on it. I don't know. Maybe you just need to give her time to come up to speed and get a rhythm, and that's fine. You know, I don't hate on it, but we got to the back stretch and we probably had about another 15 to 30 minutes left, and we just decided we'd rather go home and smoke a cigar and drink whiskey. So
the first cigar of the season.
And I don't usually cut out of stuff early, but that one I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, it just, you know, you feel bad because it's like she's just starting out. Maybe she's just working up, really hitting like pop culture with the younger group, and you're just like you're trying to understand.
I don't want to hear about video games that you guys play on the weekends. That's not really what I'm paying for or there for.
Yeah, I want to hear about history.
I think
and the
she'll
ghost
get better if she stays with it. So I don't want to be a hater.
I do. I might actually look into coming up with some more information about downtown Fort Pierce and maybe even applying for a job.
Now this next one, what are we going to do? We're going to talk a little bit about it, and then you'll come back and insert the actual story,
pretty much
altogether story in the middle.
We'll talk about it. We'll have a little cut where I'll show you guys all about, tell you guys the whole story. But basically, Port St. Lucie, St. Lucie County, we have a tree that's pretty much in the middle of a neighborhood now called the Devil's Tree. There's a lot of lore behind it, a lot of history behind it. It is the location where a Martin County Sheriff's deputy committed several murders. Picked up a bunch of teenage girls, did some horrific things to them. He liked to play games where he picked two of them up and do horrible things to them. And he's known as a Florida serial killer, the hangman, the killer cop. There was another one, but I can't remember what it was. He's one of Florida's.
And his location that he did all this was this particular tree. And I think it's been tried to be. I mean, you'll tell the story later.
Yeah.
I think they've tried to destroy the tree a few times. There's been people that have fought to keep it, people that have fought to destroy it. It either got attacked or somebody set it on fire or got struck by lightning.
Somebody set it on fire. Sure. There's a big mark where you'll be able to see they tried to set it on fire. There's cut marks where people have tried to cut it down, and the chainsaws broke. Axes didn't work right. Yeah. There's something wrong with it.
It's still standing, in other words.
Yep.
So.
And you notice, like, you're walking through the trees, you're walking through everything, and there's trees all around you, but that tree is abnormally large, abnormally thick.
Probably the biggest. And there's a couple other ones that are pretty close to size. They're still a little smaller. There's two of them together. I think a lot of people think that's the actual tree.
Yeah, because there's
a couple benches and
because
stuff
there's supposedly two. There's supposedly the one, the Devil's Tree, also known as the Murder Tree, and that's where the murders took place. Then another one, what they claim to be the Devil Tree, because in the trunk they can see a ram's head or a goat's head or something like that somewhere in the trunk, But what we'll do right here is I'll go ahead and show you my video. Florida, Sunshine State. Florida. We're known for its sun-drenched beaches lined with golden sand, packed with families visiting from far and wide just to experience the taste of a tropical paradise. Florida, a playground for the rich and the famous, where the roadways are clogged with traffic and the waterways are filled with yachts, chartered fishing boats, wave runners, cruise ships, pretty much anything that can float. And let's not forget about the resorts and the hotels that cater to your every whim. Whether you want to kick back by the pool with a drink in your hand, or float your worries away while you drink in the Florida sunlight. Or maybe you want to take it around to golf, play 18 holes on one of Florida's world-renowned golf courses. Or perhaps drop a small fortune on your plan to visit one of the famous theme parks of Orlando, take in the sights of famous cities like Tampa, or the city sprawl of Jacksonville. Or maybe you just want to take in a launch down at Cape Canaveral. No matter what you're into, Florida has it. Well, except for ice and snow. But be on the lookout for those Florida thunderstorms. They can be vicious. Then we come to Port Saint Lucie, a growing city with an old soul feel. The heart of the Treasure Coast, mixed with tradition and history and the traffic and bustle of a large city. But there is a dark story hidden in the dark recesses of Port Saint Lucie. A story of darkness, torment, murder, and even worse. Located deep inside a pleasant neighborhood park, where neighbors come to walk their dogs at dusk, and the squeals and laughter from children at the park's playground echo through the trees. At least some of them are unaware of the wickedness that lies deep within the canopy. Within the trees along the walking trails in the aptly named Oak Hammock Park, there stands an ominous, gnarled, and grotesque oak tree. What is now called the Devil's Tree has a history as dark as the black sap that runs through it. Let's take a trip back to 1972, before Port Saint Lucie was the thriving city it is today. This man, Gerard John Schaefer, was a deputy with the Martin County Sheriff's Department. In 1972, when he kidnapped 2 young women who were attempting to hitchhike to the nearby Stewart Beach, Schaefer offered the pair a ride, but had no intention of bringing them to the beach. Instead, Schaefer took them to an obscure and isolated area of town where the nightmare began. Quickly binding and gagging the young women, he dragged them through the trees, down a trail where they struggled for their lives. Upon reaching the so-called Devil's Tree, Schaefer worked quickly, tying one of them to the Devil Tree itself, promising horrific and grotesque future for the pair. Then, fate intervened, and Schaefer received an emergency call on his radio. Leaving the girls tied to the tree, he promised he would soon return to carry out the sadistic and monstrous threats he had made. While he was responding to the call, however, the pair was able to free themselves from their bindings and a noose and escape to find help. Though Schaefer was arrested, he was able to explain his actions by saying he was teaching the girls a lesson and received nothing more than a slap on the wrist. But it wasn't until later that year, 1972, when Schaefer struck again, this time being suspected of a murder of another pair of young women. Schaefer was subsequently arrested, and during the investigation, his mother's home was searched, where they found a collection of murder trophies in her house, containing what was suspected to be more of his victims' belongings, including teeth, section of bone, passports, jewelry, and other items. For this crime, Schaefer received 2 consecutive life sentences. Though he's suspected of committing at least 26 other murders, making him infamous as Florida's first and most prolific serial killer, part of his defense was claiming the Devil Tree, where he is believed to have carried out most of his heinous murders, made him do it. Through the years, many attempts have been made to destroy the tree. A pair was paid to cut it down, but while they were working, their chainsaw broke, and when they went to leave to get a replacement chain, they were involved in a car accident where both were killed. A section of the tree had been ripped out, where over time people had come to take part of the bark or draw the black sap, having sinister intentions in mind. The hole has been filled with concrete, an attempt to kill the tree, but still it grows. People have used poison, fire, any means possible to attempt to kill the tree, and yet the tree still grows. Maybe it is just a tree, but for those who believe, it is indeed the Devil's Tree.
And we're back.
And hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Hope you didn't enjoy it too much unless you're a weirdo. But we like weirdos, so just don't kill anybody.
Yeah, we really do like horror and, MDK, stuff like that, but not to the point of doing it, more to the point of just
You do
the
know
study of it and stuff.
When we say MDK,
Yeah, they don't know.
I'm going to put a flash on
Yeah.
it. Make sure that everybody knows what it is.
Just so if anybody's wondering what we're having tonight, we're having a little bit of the
Eagles Rare 10-year.
Eagles Rare 10-year. We broke this bad boy open last night while we were having cigars after the tour.
It is delicious.
It's bottled candy.
I'm gonna have to have it next to the Blantons and see what it's like, but I think this is better. A lot of people would agree.
To me personally, if I was to line these up, it would be E.H. Taylor, Eagles Rare, and then Blanton's.
Yes.
That's where I'd put those three.
I agree. I'd have to agree.
They're all excellent. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy all of them, but I think E.H. Taylor is still my favorite.
I would have to agree.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree. Well, if you like MDK, boop, 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 and other type of scary shit, let us know in the comments, especially if you've ever been to the Murder Tree, if you've walked through there. If you have committed any heinous crimes or anything like that, go ahead and call 911. Let them know. They'll share your story. Don't share it with us, please. Happy Halloween. Happy October.
Halloween, yeah.
And like, comment, subscribe.
And ring that bell.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Appreciate you guys.
Peace out. Oh, that's going at the end of the video for sure.